In the Buzz now at 9, an update on a story we discussed a few months ago. A community college student from San Jose, California, is now suing the government for secretly putting a GPS tracking device on his car. Yes, sir, Afifi says a mechanic doing an oil change spotted that strange-looking device. The mechanic removed it. Afifi's friend posted a picture of it on the internet. A couple days later, agents in bulletproof vests pulled Afifi over and demanded their property back. Afifi's lawsuit claims the FBI violated his civil rights by putting the device on his car without a warrant. His lawyers say he was targeted because of his connections to the Middle East. Afifi travels there frequently, helps support two brothers who live in Egypt, and his father was a well-known Islamic American community leader. Now at 9, what do you think of this new lawsuit?
Seems like a lot. It seems like they went a little too far.
It seems like a little too far, but again, with the Patriot Act and with the age of terrorism that we're living in, is it too far if this guy had some kind of ties? We would probably say no, but because so far this guy doesn't have any ties to any radical Islamic or any terrorist ties, I can see why it would be a problem, but I think the most embarrassing thing, once again, is that an oil change guy, no offense to any mechanics out there, but an oil change guy found the device that they put on his car.
Well, and how often does this happen that they don't find the device?
Right.
We can't expect the government to be right 100% of the time. I mean, everybody they track isn't going to turn out to be a terrorist, but, you know, how far is too far?
Right.
Who can they track? Who can't they track?
Well, let's get to your comments, because a lot of you are sending those in right now. If you want to start, let's get right to Becky Brodfett. She says that I am more curious to know what the FBI's reason was to violate this young man's rights. I do not want to hear it is based on nationality. No valid reason, then. The FBI needs to be held accountable.
Julie Evening Star writes, falls under the everyone wanting Big Brother to regulate this or that and forgetting that when you give them an inch, they will take a mile of your liberties away in the process.
And Jody Cousin says, if you don't do anything wrong, then I would think you wouldn't mind who keeps up with you. Most people tell everybody everything on Facebook and Twitter anyway. Get over it and quit wasting taxpayers' money.
That's right. Why do they even have these devices? They can just use Foursquare and follow you. And see
That's true. If the guy's on Twitter, why put a tracking device on his car? Doesn't make any sense.
The FBI is not following you.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Martha says, I don't know. There has to be some sort of checks and balances to make sure the powers that be don't get out of hand. However, those complaining about the tracking device would be the first ones to blame the government if this guy was a terrorist and something awful happened.
Yeah,
and that was sort of what I
true.
said. I mean, you know, they can't get everything right.
Right.
They're going to track people who are terrorists.
This is the day and age that we live in. Unfortunately, I mean, it's sad that this had to happen, especially if he really had no ties, which is apparently the case. But if he had, and again, you know, they weren't just going after him because he was Islamic. You know, he had ties to the Middle East.
There were certain flags that were raised.
Exactly. There were several flags that were raised. It wasn't just one.
Well, I hope they're not out there tracking every person who's from the Middle East and goes to the Middle East, because that's not what our country's about.
Right. But like you said, if this guy were, oh, great, we've got another terrorist. Exactly. Oh, great, the CIA, FBI did their job. If not, they look foolish. So you can't have it both ways.